For generations, these golden fruits fed families and built family businesses in northern Tajikistan. But in recent years, the climate has been less than kind.
Water availability greatly impacts apricot harvests. Last year, some plots turned into desert-like land due to water shortages. The soil cracked into pieces and apricot trees dried up because they weren't watered.
And then earlier this month, heavy rains swept through the north, bringing flash floods that tore through farmland and damaged irrigation canals. Around 80 hectares, that's around 200 football fields, were left underwater. Farmers reported apricots, corn and potatoes were ruined by the extreme weather. Since then, they are complaining the quality has dropped, and what they do manage to harvest sells for less than before.
Harm from climate change is hitting us hard. Rainfall has increased, and when it rains, our apricots develop spots. Their market value drops significantly because of these blemishes.
Apricots are Tajikistan's golden treasure. 10% of the world's apricot farms are in Tajikistan, and the industry supports over 100,000 jobs. Farming makes up a quarter of the country's economy and brings in 35% of tax revenue. But the picture is worrying, even beyond fruit production. In the past 30 years, cotton production has dropped by 56%, partly because of changes in the weather. Rising costs, old tools and practices are making it harder for farmers to survive. Nearly 60% of people now face food insecurity.
When the temperature suddenly rises or drops, even for a day or two, it can ruin the harvest. Climate change is deeply affecting our farms, and that's taking a toll on the whole economy.
The government says smarter irrigation, better weather data and strong state support are key to building the industry back up. Without this help, Tajikistan may lose more than just its apricots. It could lose an important part of its economy and its culture. Daniel Padwick, TRT World.
For more on this, we're joined by Liz Stevens, lead scientist at the Red Cross Red Crescent Climate Centre and Professor of Climate Risks and Resilience at the University of Reading. Great to have you with us, Liz. Now, how is climate change threatening key food commodities like the apricot in Tajikistan that we just heard about and the communities that depend on them?
So climate change is affecting weather, agriculture and food insecurity all around the world. And we can see the footprints of climate change in extreme events that have happened globally. If we take the Indian early season heatwave in 2022, that affected national wheat production, but it actually had an influence on wheat prices globally as well, which caused or was a contributor to famine in West Africa, for example. So these impacts locally can actually have broader international impacts. So we're seeing the impacts in terms of extreme rainfall events like in Tajikistan. We're also seeing the heat waves and also less reliable rainfall and in catchments in Central Asia, which are reliant on glaciers for a reliable water supply, where you can be really concerned about the long-term impact there as well.
Right, and from water shortages to flash floods, farmers are being hit on all sides. What immediate steps could help them protect their crops and livelihoods?
It's very difficult at the last minute to take immediate steps to reduce the risks. We can see that early warning systems, weather forecast information, seasonal forecasts can be useful to help farmers to diversify their crops. Also, maybe to take actions like early harvesting to protect their livelihoods. However, really, it's that long-term structural change that is needed to support those farmers.
Right, and we heard one farmer say that even a one-day temperature swing can ruin a harvest. How can small producers adapt to such unpredictable weather conditions?
Yes, it's very challenging. I think, first of all, we need to have that kind of knowledge of how different crops are actually influenced by weather and if they are very sensitive to these rapid temperature changes. And from that, we might think about diversifying the crops that are being grown. And perhaps for some farmers, that means changing the crops that they've been reliant on for their livelihoods for a very long period of time.
And what more needs to be done to alleviate these troubles for farmers in the long run?
So I think globally, the large food producers are already thinking about the sustainability of their businesses and making sure that they're able to grow crops in different parts of the world, therefore that they're able to manage the risks which might happen in just one location. But of course, for small scale farmers, that isn't something that they are able to do. So really, we need to help support governments to be able to support those farmers to be able to be more resilient to those kind of weather events and climate change in future.
All right, Liz Stevens, lead scientist at the Red Cross Red Crescent Climate Centre and Professor of Climate Risks and Resilience at the University of Reading. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you. Bye.